James, Kyle Carter ended up with a big catch for you in overtime. He's had some issues this season. How good do you feel for that kid in particular that he was able to make that kind of play in a key spot?
Yeah, I'm really happy for him. I'm really happy for our whole team. He's an example of, things aren't always going to go exactly how you imagined it to go, but you keep working hard, you keep a positive attitude. You keep working hard and good things will come. So, I wouldn't trade that catch for 20 other catches during the season or however many yards. That was a huge catch, and he came through for us when we needed him.
Folks, just a reminder to state your name and affiliation before asking the question.
Rich Scarcello, Reading Eagle.
Hey, Rich.
James, hi, James. Christian has put up with a lot of criticism this year, and I was just wondering, can you talk about his resilience, particularly the way he played after you were down 21-7?
Yeah, I tried all season long to deflect that as much as I could. Not because I didn't think Christian couldn't handle it, but because, I've been telling everybody before the season started that, everyone wants to talk about Christian, and that wasn't really the issue. We had to make sure that we developed the guys around him. There was a lot of production that had left. And we knew we had challenges on the offensive line. We played a team, I think, tonight. Every one of their starters on the offensive line was a graduate senior. I think they had 146 or something starts going into the season. We had one returning starter on the offensive line, and I think he had like 21 starts. So it all starts up front. On the offense, on the defense. I'm happy for him. I think, again, this springboards us into the offseason. But it's tough nowadays. With social media, you can't protect your players the way you used to. But I love Christian Hackenberg. I wouldn't trade him for anybody. I think he's got a really bright future at Penn State. I think he's got a really bright future moving forward. And I will fight and defend him till the end.
James, Neil Riddell, Altoona Mirror.
Hi, Neil.
I was wondering.
Hi, Neil. How are
Hi,
you?
James. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Just wondering, the defense played so well most of the year, and tonight the offense really seemed to carry the torch. Could you talk about, did you expect that, and just how good you feel for that turnaround tonight?
No, I think the offense, played well early and then played well late. Early on, we kept getting into what we call the strike zone, which is the first area you really can score, the high red zone type area. And we'd have a penalty or a turnover that killed us. So we got to get those things cleaned up. The defense has been great at stopping the run all year long. Again, they got a veteran O-line. They got a bunch of tight ends, big bodies. They did a great job of shifting and trading tight ends, going from heavy sets to regular sets, from regular sets to heavy sets. Not only were they trading the tight ends, I don't know if you noticed, they were actually trading the offensive tackle as well from one side to the other. So I think early on they had us thinking and not playing as fast as we normally play, fast and aggressive and confident. So I think that was a factor, there's no doubt about it. But, I think as the game went on, we said, look, we don't need to make, some of our more elaborate calls. Let's call base defense and allow our kids to play. And I think that was helpful.
All the way in the back room left.
James, Chaz Hepler, WPP Radio.
Hi, Chaz.
How are you?
Awesome.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much, sir.
Special teams this year has been a roller coaster of sorts. Sam Ficken steps up, kind of is a mentor to the punters who are having their set of problems. But for him to come out tonight and hit a field goal to tie and send it to overtime, and then the extra point to seal the victory, that's a feel-good story for that young man who had his ups and downs at Penn State.
I love Sam Ficken. He's been that way all year long. He's probably been our best offensive weapon all year long, really has. And like you say, the way that guy's career started, had some bumps along the way. But again, to go out here with that field goal, there was no doubt. We put pressure on our guys at the end of practice all the time. Sam has been as consistent as any player in our program from the day we arrived. And he's been a real good mentor for the other young players as well. So, that's what we want to do. We want to get to a point that at every single position, not only do we have a really good player there as a starter, but we have another player behind him that can get the job done, and then a younger player that's being groomed. We don't have that right now. I thought Vic did a really good job with basically it was him no juniors, no sophomores in between, and then just a bunch of freshmen, punters, kickers, everything, and he really took all those guys under his wing. So Vic did an internship this summer on Wall Street. He rang the bell. He rang the bell to start this bowl week. He rang the bell to kick the field goal to end it, and I'm really, really happy for him.
Second row on the right, John.
Coach John Schwartz, Yankees Magazine. You play in a baseball stadium. Game ends on an extra point. Is that as close as you could possibly get to a walk-off home run, would you say?
There's a football stadium tonight, and an awesome one. We loved it.
Second row on the left here. I believe you had a question, sir.
Derek Lawrence, Times leader, Wilkes-Barre. James.
Hi, Derek.
Hi, James. You lost Miles right at the end of the first quarter. How much did that affect you, not only strategically, but emotionally with everything he's been through?
No, emotionally, physically, strategically. That's the one position we couldn't afford to lose a guy, is on the offensive line. And, losing him, his leadership, he's our captain, was big. So, Dowry coming in and really battling and playing. I thought Gaia was struggling a little bit early, and he battled through it. So I'm just really proud of those guys, because we talk about guys getting, maybe a lot of criticism. That position probably got as much as criticism as anybody. I'm really proud of Herb Hand and the O-line and that whole group. I'm proud of the offense and John Donovan, how he persevered as well. After Miles went out, we needed to run the ball a little bit. We didn't put up big numbers, but we had to do those things to help the offensive line out. And I think they were able to get it done. I think our big plan going into this game was they were going to bring a lot of overload blitzes, and we needed to be able to sort those things out and slide into it. And we knew if we were able to do that their DBs weren't used to covering for very long. They're used to getting to the quarterback and the quarterback getting the ball out of his hand. That's kind of how their defense is devised. And the fact that we were able to, as the game went on, slide and pick those guys up and give Christian time that we've been talking about all year long, and to give the guy time, he's got a chance to be successful. He was. And then we got young guys stepping up. As you guys know, I don't talk about injuries very often, but, Deshaun Hamilton has had a pulled hamstring for the last 4 or 5 weeks. For Godwin, we had Godwin in the game plan and position to make some plays for us, and he did, which was huge. Deshaun was still able to play in a limited role. But I'll be happy when we get all these guys healthy and we get some of the new guys in and really be able to create the most competitive environment in the country and practice every single day.
Dolores, right here on the right. First row on the right.
We got you finally.
David Jones from PennLive.com. Hi, James. Christian just looked more comfortable, and part of that, I'm sure, was that he didn't have bodies crashing around him all the time as much as all season. But also, was he healthier just from having a month off, or am I imagining that? He just looked sharp. He looked like he was.
Yeah, I think that makes sense, but I don't know if that's necessarily reality. He's a big, strong, physical guy. Was he banged up and bruised and sore and uncomfortable? Yeah, but that's kind of how it is in this game. I think more than anything, we were able to, more times than not, protect him tonight and mix in the run game. And I've been saying since day one, if we can give him time and give our receivers a little time to work their routes, I think we can be pretty good on offense. And we were able to do that tonight. So I think that was the biggest difference. I thought Ricky Ronnie and Herb Hand did a really good job of having some indicators with their defense. Blitzes, certain people, where they lined up, certain alignments that we had a pretty good idea that the O-line and the quarterback could anticipate where the pressure was going to come from. And with that, we were able to, get a body on a body, get a hat on a hat, and give him some time to make some plays. He was able to do it.
We have time for just a few more questions. In the middle on the left here.
Hi, Coach.
Hi.
Congratulations, first of all.
Thank you so much.
My name is Megan Delsett. I'm with Pittsburgh Sporting News.
Hi, Megan.
Oh, hi. Today the remark was made that you were going to be the one to bring back Penn State football to its former glory. Do you agree with that after this win?
No, it has very little to do with James Franklin. It has to do with the fans. It has to do with the alumni. I saw Franco on the sideline. It has to do with all the former players. It has to do with the current players. It has to do with the assistant coaches. It has to do with the trainers, the doctors, the video. It has to do with our fans that show up and are going to sell out every single game. We're all a part of this, and I think we've been fractured. We've been fractured in the last probably 3 years, but I think experiences and games like this has restored the hope, and everybody has a part in that. And I believe when Penn State is together and that we're all pulling the rope in the same direction, and doing what's best for the students, and doing what's best for the players, and doing what's best for the community as a whole, then the sky's very very high at Penn State.
Two or three last questions. First one, all right?
Audrey Snyder, Pittsburgh Post-Gazette.
Hi, Audrey.
Hi, how you doing?
Awesome.
James, we didn't see Jordan Lucas start tonight. What went into that? And also his sack late in the game. Could you sense that was kind of got things flowing for the defense a little bit?
You said the sack?
Yeah, late in the game.
Yeah, he didn't play the first quarter because it was a violation of team rules, so he sat out the first quarter. I think that's why he sacked the guy, because he was really angry by the time he got in the game. But we have rules, and we're going to hold guys accountable. I want to make sure you guys understand it wasn't a big deal. He showed up a few lates for curfew, a few minutes late for curfew. He was visiting his family in New York. But we have rules, and we're going to hold everybody accountable to those rules. And Jordan understands that, and Jordan's got a real bright future moving forward. He wasn't happy at first, but he handled it the right way. And I was proud of our coaches for making that decision as well. That's what happened there.
Last two questions, all the way in back and left.
Hi, James. Chris Adamski, Pittsburgh Tribune.
Hi, Chris. How are you, buddy?
Pretty good, pretty good. Just real quick before I get to a question about Geno Lewis and the game he had. You said Deshaun the last 4 or 5 weeks, I think you said. Is that real time, or is that the season? Those last
the last 3 or 4 games. If you watched during the season, I mean, he was hobbling around and fighting through. When you get a real hamstring, the only thing that's going to solve that is time. And we tried to lay off, but what happens is you try to lay off, and then he feels good, and then you come out on game day and feels good for the first quarter. He tried to pull out of a leg tackle there, and it started to bother him, so we had to get him out of the game again. So, as a redshirt freshman, I think he had a heck of a year, and I think he's got a real bright future moving forward. I'm really excited to see all the work that those guys can put in the indoor facility with Christian all offseason, and where we can be in the passing game.
You've talked some about Hackenberg and Kyle Carter and Ilan to an extent, but Geno Lewis also had a big game after some struggles the second half of the season.
Yeah, we think Geno's got a lot of ability. We saw it early in the year. Geno's got great ball skills. He's got tremendous leaping ability. He's a smart guy. He's a competitive guy. I'm excited because there's a lot of room for growth in his game. Route running, his quickness, his explosion, those types of things. I'm really excited to see where he's going to be come spring ball. With the right mentality and the right work ethic. I want all our guys to go back and study every single play and every single game throughout the year. I want them to go watch the last 3 years before coming to Penn State to study that film and understand it inside and out. We're going to do a lot of off-season studies. We're going to evaluate everything, starting with myself and all the way down through the program. So that we can refine this thing and get better, so that come spring ball and then through spring ball, we're hitting on all cylinders going into the next year.
Last question, last row on the left.
Coach, Daryl Joyner, WPIX 11 here in New York. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
The kicking game of Boston College, they've had some issues all year long. Were you aware of that? And two, after the missed extra point, what was your message to your team?
Yeah, we knew that was a factor. We knew that was a factor for sure. We thought we had the advantage there in the field goal situation with our field goal kicker versus theirs. That showed up tonight. So that factored in. But I didn't say a whole lot. We talk. I'm a big believer that I'm not a big believer in the pregame speech. I'm not a big believer in the half-game speech. We do it, but I do my talking during the week. We have team meetings every single day. We talk about the things, so that they were aware of that. We covered that in detail. Bob covered that on defense. Huff covered that on special teams. But it's not like we had to talk about it at halftime or after that play. Our guys were prepared for that. They knew that was an area we had an advantage, and it needed to be an advantage for us. That's where I think early in the game, when we had the ball down in the strike zone and we had penalties or turnovers, I think we could have got a few more points on the board. It would have made it a little less crazy at the end. But again, we're really trying to help the Big Ten out and ESPN to get the ratings up. So that's why we did it that way.
Coach, thank you for the time.
Thank you so much,
Congratulations.
guys.